MMAWeekly.com, Damon Martin here with Jim Miller. Jim, here you are, main event, UFC on FX. Let me backtrack first, because I talked to you about the last fight, the learning lessons you had from that one. You come into this one. Is it a different mindset, or is it always the same mindset?
I try to keep it the same. Whether I'm coming off of a win that I'm pleased with, a win that I'm not so pleased with, or a loss, I still just try to put it in the past and focus on the challenge ahead. Because these guys deserve it. They deserve that respect, and they demand it as well. You don't want to step in there unprepared for somebody.
When you look back at your record, you kind of, I hate to pigeonhole anybody, but people like to say you're a wrestler, jiu-jitsu more than anything. But throughout your career, you've done very well with any striker you've ever faced throughout your whole career. Again, Melvin Guillard, we can expect a flying armbar to come out in the first round, but chances are that's not going to happen. So stylistically, does this pretty much match up to something you do very well against?
It does. It does. Most of the guys who are predominant strikers, I tend to shock them with my striking and sit them down a little bit, and then sub them out. So I'm hoping I can keep that streak going. Melvin is probably a better wrestler than most of those strikers that I fought. So, he poses his own dangers and threats. I just consider myself more well-rounded. I've got a much better submission game. I can take him down. I can defend his takedowns, and I'm confident I can strike with him.
When you look at a couple of his fights, one particular I bring up is Evan Dunham, who is a pretty good wrestler, pretty good submission guy. Really, I think got stunned when he got hit with that knee in the belly. That pretty much threw him off, and that was pretty much the beginning of the end. Very explosive, I guess. He comes in with powerful knees. He's throwing everything he throws is pretty much for a knockout. Does that change anything for you, or is it actually easier because he does have to extend himself in those ways?
It's a challenge. It's something that not everybody does. So it's something that you don't particularly train for in every fight. But every time you throw that strike, that big strike you're trying to end the fight with, you're leaving yourself open for either a counter strike or a takedown or something like that. So. The more he comes at me, the more openings he's going to leave, and hopefully I can weasel my way in and put him in danger.
Throughout your career, you've always been a pretty humble guy. You're not one to sit there and talk about yourself a lot. In the last fight with Melvin, it seemed like he was overlooking Joe Lozon. I mean, everyone said it. It seemed like his demeanor that fight was, he was one shot away from a title shot, and he came in and kind of underestimated Joe Lozon. It seems like this fight, though, he's paying you a lot of respect. Do you kind of get that from him, or I mean, that's been one of Melvin's Achilles heels throughout his career, is that he does come in a little overconfident for fights. He has shown me respect, and I've shown him respect. I'm friendly with the guy. We've had conversations and talked and stuff like that, and he's a really nice guy, and I respect him as a fighter and as a man. And he's shown me the same. I don't know if he comes in, overconfident. You got to be confident to step in there and fight somebody, because if you're timid or reluctant to fight to your strengths because you're afraid of somebody else, what somebody else is going to throw at you, then you're not going to fight at your best. He came in and he went to fight hard, and Joe was sneaky enough to find his opening and capitalized on it very well. Last question, I'll kind of reverse something Melvin said in his interview. He said before his last fight it was all about the title. I want the title, and you became more vocal about that as well. You were finally getting out there and saying, look, I know I've earned it. You had a tough loss. Does your perspective on the title change at all now, or are you thinking this fight gets you right back on track, or are you kind of like him where he said, you know what, I need to just focus on the fight and stop worrying about the title?
I never really worried about the title or focused on it. I was just kind of looking for the respect from mostly you guys in the media and the fans and stuff like that. I had a lot of respect from the fighters and stuff and the way I was doing things. So I just wanted, apparently sometimes you gotta speak up in order to, for some reason, prove that what you're capable of inside the cage. But a win here hopefully gets me another fight,
against a tough guy and you know, get right back on track. That's why I wanted to fight against Melvin. That's why I was, you know, excited about it when I found out I was fighting him, and you know, have been excited about it this whole training camp because he's a hell of a tough guy, and you know, it's a big fight.
Excellent. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.